Welcome back. All right, 12 games on Saturday. It is an all-day hockey situation, but again, we're about 6 weeks from the end of the season, so it's getting really fun here. So we've got 3 games starting early that I'm going to have on Border of Their Own. I should have a recap of these 3 games, and then the other 9 may end up being together, although this one's 2.5 hours before these two, so maybe this one gets its own. We'll see. 9:30 in the morning Pacific, 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern. We get the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Tampa Bay Lightning and the Buffalo Sabres, which is almost as exciting as the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. So November 5th, Tampa Bay wins 5-3. And then on November 28th, Tampa Bay beats Buffalo by a score of 6-5, that one in overtime. February 23rd, very, very recently, Buffalo gets their revenge with a 6-5 win in overtime. I'm very excited to see how this one turns out. And since it's an afternoon game, we may get a ton of goals again. Tampa Bay 37-19-5. They're not playing like Tampa Bay right now. They're 4-3-3 in their last 10. Away from home, they're 15-14-1. They're 13 points clear of Buffalo, Ottawa, and Florida, who are all tied, and that's all Atlantic Division teams. I'm not even including Washington in that. So pretty comfortably in third place, but showing just how bonkers the race is at the bottom. 648 is the points percentage for the Tampa Bay Lightning. On the Buffalo side, they're 31-25-4. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Again, at home, it's just killing them. They're 12-16-2. They're 4 points back of the New York Islanders in that final playoff spot. They're tied with Ottawa, Florida, and Washington in points. Their 550 points percentage is actually a little bit better than the Islanders. So, by that standard, they are the team that could end up getting that final wild card spot, but they're going to have to win some more games at home. Then 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern, 9:30 in the morning Pacific, we have Detroit and the Islanders. So this is the third and final meeting between these two teams. Detroit won November 5th by a score of 3-0. January 27th, the Islanders win 2-0, so whoever scores first wins. Detroit 28-24-9 overall over their last 10 games. They're 5-4-1. They're 13-12-5 away from home. They're 5 points back of the New York Islanders for that final playoff spot. They're 1 point behind Buffalo, Ottawa, Florida, and Washington. Their points percentage of .533 is pretty good. The Islanders' points percentage is a little bit better than that. They're 31-25-8 overall. Their last 10 games, they're 4-3-3. So they have 11 points in their last 10 games. So does Detroit. At home, the Islanders 18-11-3. They're 4 points ahead of Buffalo, Ottawa, Florida, Washington. They have a .547 points percentage. I love this in the East. Remember last year, there was like 20 points between who was below the line and who was above? Not this year. 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, we get the Rangers and the Bruins. Boston's won the first 2 meetings. We'll see if they can sweep it. On November 3rd, they won 5-2. January 19th, they won 3-1. The Rangers 35-18-9, and all the excitement over Kane and Tarasenko is still there. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10, though. They're not keeping pace with New Jersey or Carolina in this division. Away from home, they're 18-7-5. They're now 7 points behind the New Jersey Devils. They're 8 points ahead of Pittsburgh. They have a .637 points percentage. Boston, ridiculous numbers for Boston. They're 48-8-5. Their last 10 games, they're 9-1. At home, they're 25-2-3. They've won 8 in a row. They're 17 points ahead of Toronto and first in the division, and they have an .828 points percentage. So any stat you want to look at for Boston, they're excellent at it. I don't know how much further this can go, but yeah, it's insane. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. This is a good test for Dallas. They won their last 2, but those were over Arizona and Chicago, respectively. Colorado's won both meetings with Dallas. On November 21st, it was a 3-2 shootout victory, and November 26th, it was a 4-1 victory. The fourth and final meeting will be on April the 1st. So for Colorado, they're 34-20-5 on the season. Their last 10 games are 7-2-1. Away from home, they're 18-10-1. They're 3 points behind Minnesota for second place in the division. They're 1 point ahead of Winnipeg. So Winnipeg not getting any points tonight. Cost themselves a chance to move back into third place. Points-wise, Colorado at .619 is their points percentage. For Dallas, they're 33-16-13, not 3. 3 is optimistic. It's 13. And I know this because I grumble about it a lot. So let's change that to 13. Their last 10, they're 4-3-3. At home, they're 16-8-8. Those numbers tell you 3 was impossible. So they're 3 points clear of Minnesota, 6 points clear of Colorado. They have a .637 points percentage, but it's been a slog lately. I'm glad they got 2 wins over Chicago and Arizona because they needed some kind of victory. Now they need to show that they're really progressing against a Colorado team that's going to be tough to beat. Then at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, Florida at home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's won both matchups. I think Pittsburgh just wants games against teams from Florida from now on. December 15th, they win 4-2, and January 24th, they win in overtime 7-6. So for Pittsburgh, they're now 31-21-9. The very up and down Pittsburgh Penguins have won 4 in a row. Away from home, they're 15-12-5. They're 1 point ahead of the New York Islanders. They have a .582 points percentage. We'll see what happens for them with the additions at the deadline and with the momentum they have and everything. Florida, on the other hand, they're 30-27-6. They're also 5-5 in their last 10, but it feels like they're trending in the wrong direction. At home, they're 16-10-3. They're 4 points back of the New York Islanders. They are tied with Ottawa, Washington, and Buffalo. They have a .524 points percentage, which means their points percentage is also behind Detroit, who are 1 point behind Florida overall. Also at 6 Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, we have the Washington Capitals and the San Jose Sharks. So tomorrow's games are nicely spread out. February 12th, San Jose went in and beat Washington 4-1. It was one of those games that made it clear that Washington had problems. Washington 30-27-6 overall. Their last 10, they're 3-7, but they won their last game. Away from home, they're 15-14-3. Again, 4 points behind the Islanders and tied with Ottawa, Florida, and Buffalo. They also have a .524 points percentage as they have the exact same record as Florida. And the perception of the two is a little different in that Florida feels like still in this, Washington not so much. San Jose 18-32-12 is their record. Over their last 10, they're 2-7-1. At home, they're 6-17-8. That is the lowest number of wins at home any team in the NHL has. They are 24 points back of Winnipeg. Anaheim passed them tonight as well. They have a .387 points percentage. So if you're a Sharks fan, the chance of getting Bedard went up thanks to Anaheim beating Montreal. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Columbus and the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa won the first meeting 4-0 on January 3rd. The third meeting will be on April the 2nd. For Columbus, they're 20-36-6. They're coming off of a loss tonight against Seattle. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10, though, so they have played well over their last 10. They're 7-17-4 away from home. They're 10 points behind Montreal, still in last place in the East. On the Ottawa side, they're 31-26-4, and there's a lot of optimism in Sens Nation. 7-2-1 in their last 10. At home, they're 18-12-2. They're 4 points back of the Islanders for that last wildcard spot. They're tied with Buffalo, Florida, and Washington. Their .541 points percentage is a little behind the Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres, but they're still in this. And a win over Columbus, possible. Could Detroit upset the Islanders? Sure. Could Buffalo beat Tampa Bay? Why not? Let's get them as close as humanly possible. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg's going to need one of those Men in Black flashy things after tonight's effort. Winnipeg won the first meeting December 31st, 2-1. No such luck tonight. They lost 6-3, and the Oilers had 9 power plays. They can't give the Oilers 9 power plays. Don't ever give the Oilers have gone 2 weeks without 9 power plays combined. They're 34-21-8, the Oilers. Last 10 games, they're 4-3-3, but it looks like they're getting it together. Away from home, they're 18-9-3. They're tied with Seattle for third place in the division. They're 4 points ahead of Winnipeg. They're 9 points ahead of Calgary. They have a .603 points percentage. On the Winnipeg side, they're 35-25-2. Last 10 games, they're 3-6-1. It keeps getting worse. At home, they're 20-10-1. They're 1 point behind Colorado for third. They're 4 points behind Edmonton for that number 1 wildcard spot. They're 5 points ahead of Calgary. Calgary's not out of this because Winnipeg won't let them be out of this. They have a .581 points percentage now. It's not that long ago Winnipeg's points percentage was in the .650 range, so it's dropped quite a bit. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific start between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vancouver Canucks. Toronto won the first meeting at home on November the 12th, 3-2. I'd be very surprised if Toronto doesn't win this one. They're 38-16-8. Their last 10 games are 7-3. Away from home, they're 15-10-4. They're now 5 points clear of the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have a .677 points percentage, very solid. Vancouver, not so much. They're 24-32-5. Their last 10 games are 4-5-1. At home, they're 11-17-1. They're 19 points behind Winnipeg. They have a .434 points percentage. And they're over the cap for next year already. Anyways, we'll see what happens in that one. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock. I just can't get over that. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start between the Nashville Predators and the Chicago Blackhawks. Nashville won the first meeting on December 21st by a score of 4-2. The third meeting between these teams will be March the 16th. What's interesting is Nashville, sure, they sold. They're not out of this. They are 30-23-6 overall. Their last 10 games are 6-4. Away from home, they're 14-12-3. They're 6 points behind Winnipeg. They have a .559 points percentage. Again, I don't think they're out of it. Just think of it this way. They have a .559 points percentage. That's better than the Islanders, who are the number 2 wild card here. That's not that far off of Pittsburgh either, and it's better than Buffalo and all those other teams fighting for a spot. But in the West, .559 you sell. It's weird. On the Chicago side, they're 21-35-5. Their last 10 games, they're 5-5. So they like the number 5 right now. At home, they're 12-17-3. They're 25 points behind Winnipeg, and they have a points percentage of .385. So Chicago in full-on tank mode at this point now at the bottom of the West, and I think that's where they stay the rest of the season. And then the late starts, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the Minnesota Wild in against the Calgary Flames. This should be a lot of fun. Calgary won the first meeting December 7th by a score of 5-3. These teams will meet again in a few days on March the 7th. So we'll see how this goes for Minnesota. They're 35-21-6. Their last 10 games, they are 7-1-2. So not bad. Away from home, they're 14-11-4. They're 3 points behind Dallas for first in the division. They're 3 points ahead of Colorado. So pick your poison. Are you cheering for Colorado or Dallas if you're a Minnesota fan? They have a .613 points percentage. So that's a little behind Colorado's. So I'm thinking maybe you cheer for Dallas if you're a Minnesota fan to get that points percentage so that they're higher. Anyways, Calgary 27-22-13. We've talked a lot about Calgary and their problems recently. They're 3-4-3 in their last 10. 15-12-3 at home. They're 5 points behind the Winnipeg Jets, and they have a .540 points percentage. So again, that points percentage isn't awful, but those 13 overtime loss points really stand out. And for Calgary and Dallas, it's a common theme where both of them were getting a lot of points, not wins though, and then it started to result in some regulation losses soon after. And then at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, we got St. Louis and the LA Kings. LA wins 5-1 on Halloween in this matchup, and the third meeting will be on March the 26th. For St. Louis, they're 27-29-5. Their last 10 games are 4-4-2. Away from home, they're 14-15-1. They're 13 points behind Winnipeg for that final playoff spot. They have a .484 points percentage. LA 35-20-8 overall. Their last 10 games are 7-2-1. At home, they're 18-9-2. They're 2 points behind Vegas for first in the division. They're 2 points ahead of Seattle and Edmonton as that division stays close. And their points percentage, .619, the same points percentage as that of the Colorado Avalanche. So let me know your winners in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I believe with these games tomorrow, we pass the 1,000 game mark in the season, meaning I've watched 1,000 hockey games. And there's 1,312 in the season. So you think about it that way, we're getting close. So let me know your picks. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.